My girlfriend dumped me for my friend. I orchestrated a pretty good revenge.
Petty.
Petty. So this happened over a decade ago. I was in my mid-20s, and at the time it happened, no one really asked for all the details. I just gave everyone this short story, so I've not told this story to that many people, and I thought I would share it here as I think it's a pretty good revenge story in my end. By the way, this comes from Riff Grinder on the OK Storytime subreddit. Me and my ex-girlfriend were together for almost 5 years. We lived together for about 3. She was like the perfect daughter, except she was pretty lazy and could not hold a job. The last year of our relationship was obviously pretty bad, very rocky, and to be honest, just boring. But we decided we could stick together, and I even bought an apartment for us. Since I was the only one with an income, I was also the only one who paid for it.
Ooh, bad habits. I don't like these habits.
That was not a good choice. This is how it ended. So this was on a Friday. I come home from work, I greet my ex-girlfriend, chat about the day, have a shower. After the shower, I get dressed, and I go grab a cold beer from the fridge. I sit down by my PC, and it does not even have time to boot up, and I hear, "Babe, are you happy?" I'm not happy. I ask, "Happy? Yeah, I feel pretty good. Blah, blah, blah. What do you mean?" I knew what she meant. She tells me she has thought about it and already made up her mind and she wants out of the relationship. At this point, I have no more fight left in me. She's made up her mind and this is obviously happening. So we have a talk about it for about 2 hours. The talk went really well and she pretty much agreed on everything I said. I was right about everything and so on. Being broken up with sucks, but this time it was the easiest. So I thought. I thought we were on the exact same page about how we were going to deal with the breakup and move forward. I even told her I would not kick her out of the apartment. I would let her live in the apartment rent-free because she's unemployed until she finds a new place. And I told her I don't want her to take whatever place she gets offered. I want her to move to a place or area she feels safe in and actually will enjoy living in.
Nice. Okay.
That's really nice.
I like this.
You didn't have to do that. That's really nice. Like I mentioned, she agreed, said that everything I said seemed very reasonable. The breakup talk went really smooth. She tells me she'll be staying at my mother's place over the weekend so we get some space. My mother was out of town. Once my ex-girlfriend left, I called up my friend and told him what had just happened. He told me to come to his place first thing in the morning. We would go grab breakfast, do something fun, and take my mind off of things. So it's Saturday now, next day. I went over around noon to my friend's place. We had some deep talks. He joked about a bunch of silly stuff my ex-girlfriend had said or done over the years and was trying to keep my mind off of the breakup. To sum up the day, this of course for some reason ended up with us getting wasted and throwing a big party at my friend's place.
Hey.
I had a good time actually. I was about to text my ex-girlfriend in the middle of the night, something like, "I'm really glad we're at least dealing with this breakup like adults, being upfront and all, you're still my best friend."
Okay.
But I actually erased it before I sent it. And I didn't send her a single text. I came home from the party sometime early Sunday morning, like 6 or 7 in the morning, and I noticed that there seemed to be some things missing from the apartment. Books and curtains. But my still drunk mind does not really process this, so I just go to bed. I wake up in the afternoon and I clearly see things are missing. I start going through stuff and at some point I panic, and like the hipster I am, I look at my vinyl collection. I flip through the records and as I suspected, one record was gone. It was a signed copy of a record I bought from the artist himself after a concert, and it was even signed, "Best of luck and take it easy, Riff Grinder." So it has my name on it. I tried to call her and she wouldn't answer the phone. I call my mom in case she would have been in touch with her. I call her sister to ask if she had heard anything from her, but no, other than the fact we broke up. About an hour later, I get a call from my mother, and she managed to get in touch with my ex-girlfriend, and it turns out she never even stayed at my mom's place. She had been spending the whole weekend at, let us call him Mike's place. Now, at the time, Mike was a friend of mine, a pretty good friend too. I thought. The revenge part.
I think she took the stuff because she's unemployed and she needs to live off of it.
I text my ex-girlfriend that I'm happy to see you found a new place to live so quickly. Since you obviously don't need me anymore, I thought I'll pack up the remaining stuff you forgot to pick up during the night while I was away. If you're not here in 2 hours, I will just leave it outside on the sidewalk for you. Almost these exact words, but in Swedish, since I'm Swedish, of course. She called me up a minute later. She was in a panic, and she can't make it in 2 hours as she needs to find a van or something that can fit all of her stuff. She even asked me if I knew somebody who had a van that we could borrow. I told her to get a rental, and in 2 hours the stuff would be nicely packed up and waiting for her outside, and I hung up. I then proceed to actually pack up her stuff, and she had a lot of stuff. And at some point I find her old MacBook in her closet, of all places. She hadn't used this computer in 2 years, but I could see the little LED light glowing, indicating it was charged. I opened the laptop, and to my surprise, a Facebook page open. She was logged into a fake account she had made with one conversation in her chat history, dating back several months. I couldn't read it at the time. I was torn up and angry, and I just scrolled to the first message to see it was like 4 to 5 months earlier that they had began chatting through her fake profile. And it was very clear from the messages I did read that they had initiated a secret relationship and pretty much planned the breakup together.
Oh, dude, this is making my stomach hurt.
I managed to retrieve her login details, and I call up her sister and give her the details and ask her if she wants to know why we broke up. She can just read the chat logs. I also asked her sister not to confront my ex-girlfriend about the chat logs until I had a chance to speak to her about it first. And she informs me she can't read the chat by herself as she feels so embarrassed about her own sister. So she drove to her parents' place to read it together with their mother. I also stopped packing up my ex-girlfriend's stuff after I found out about the chat. When my ex-girlfriend arrives at my place, she was expecting her stuff nicely packed up for her, but instead the first thing she sees is the laptop on the ground in the hallway with the conversation open. Her face goes pale. And just so our faces don't go pale, you can join us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. I then tell her that as we speak, her sister and mother are currently reading through the chat logs. And then I tell her to pack up her own stuff by herself. She did. It took like 5 hours or so, and I just sat on the couch observing her. When I closed the door behind her after she had grabbed the last box, I blocked her everywhere, and I haven't seen her since. And then a little edit. I forgot to mention that I did get the record back when she came by to pick up the stuff, so you can all rest easy. No records were harmed. I still have it.
Okay, that was what I was most worried about.
That's what you were worried about?
This whole time.
Yeah.
My thought, this is all justified because she took the record.
Right.
I could see the sister, but getting the mom involved.
I just think, yeah, getting the family involved in general, kind of weird. Even though she brought back the record, though, she still was chatting with Mike, probably cheating emotionally with Mike, maybe physically cheating for those 4 or 5 months before they ended.
Oh, yeah, because she went straight to Mike's after it all happened.
Exactly.
My ex's girlfriend tried to take over my daughter's birthday party, so I put my foot down. Hi, this is my first time posting, so hopefully this is done correctly. It's my daughter's birthday next month, and we are arranging a soft play party for her. This is only going to be a small party with our closest family and friends, 8 children and roughly 11 adults. By the way, this comes from user Powerful Force 3484 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit, and we hope you are in here. So, my daughter's father, we will call him Nico, and I broke up before I found out I was pregnant. We were still quite young and had different things we wanted to do and achieve, and therefore decided to go our separate ways. There were no hard feelings, and we parted on very good terms. 2 months after we separated, I found out I was preggers and let him know. He was surprisingly happy about the pregnancy and has since been a wonderful dad and a great friend. We both decided to co-parent and that we would work to make sure we had a healthy friendship to ensure our daughter had both parents and a healthy and positive environment to grow up in. This has worked very, very well so far. Around 2 years ago, Nico had a one-night stand with a woman, and we'll call her Emma, and she fell pregnant also. He did say to her that he didn't want any more children, but he would support her with whatever she chose. She chose to keep the baby, and he has supported her with child support and spends time with the baby regularly. That is quite a twist. Unfortunately, they have had a few issues working out a co-parenting dynamic, as she was not happy that he did not want a romantic relationship with her, which she said has ruined the chance for her to have the family unit she always dreamed of. As a result, she refuses to let him take the baby anywhere without her being present. For example, if he wants to go for her to see family, which is only around 15 minutes drive for her house, she has to be there. This has made for some very awkward and uncomfortable encounters for me, as I am usually invited to such events due to my close relationship with all of Nico's family. I would not mind her being there under normal circumstances. However, she constantly makes snarky comments towards me and tries to play mommy to my daughter right in front of me. Obviously, Nico would like to have both of his children at our daughter's birthday party. However, Emma has advised she will also need to come and will be bringing her 3 nieces and 4 nephews. What? Which neither of us have ever met. I didn't want to make things any more difficult for Nico. However, I want to be able to give my daughter a great birthday without the tense atmosphere that comes with having Emma around. I also don't feel it's fair for me to have to be uncomfortable in my home due to all of this. I have asked a few of my friends about this, and they are split. Some saying I would be the a-hole, and some saying I wouldn't. So, there is an update. Hi, everyone. Hi. Thank you for your judgments and your comments. I do have a small update, but I'm unsure how updating works, so I'm putting it here. As per my previous comment, Nico wasn't aware of this, as she had messaged me directly late last night, and I wanted to get a different perspective before having a serious sit-down with him, as this was close to my final straw in a long line of problems relating to Emma. Before I get into what's gone on today, I would like to provide a few responses to common things mentioned in the comments. With regards to him taking her to court, potentially, this is something he has considered and kept documentation of everything happening. However, he wanted to try to make it work outside of having to get lawyers involved. Both me and his family agree. He should have done this a long time ago. However, it was his problem and decision to make. Me and Emma do not usually have contact outside of events we are both invited to, and I generally steer clear of her. Even then, she is actually blocked on all social platforms and does not have my number due to the verbal abuses she threw at me throughout her pregnancy. I was not involved in her pregnancy in any shape or form. However, she was obviously not included in Nico's family functions until the baby was born, which she was clearly very jealous of. She usually makes new accounts to send me messages like the one yesterday, which I'll just screenshot and ignore. Pathetic. So on to the update. I called Nico over the main house this morning. We both live on the same property. Me and my daughter live in the main house, and Nico lives in a smaller house on the property. I showed him both the messages from Emma and the post and this post / the comments before anything. He did completely agree with many of the comments and thankfully didn't mind me posting here for advice.
Real quick, it's good that he is sticking up for his ex-wife, even with, the situation being, currently the problem is his current girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like he's still like, she's totally out of line.
It's like, this is, I want to be able to co-parent.
Agreed.
Can't we just co-parent?
Can't we just
like
Cocomelon?
Co-parent. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so we did have a great chat where I made my boundaries very clear with regards to wanting no further contact with Emma. I also advised that I have absolutely no problem with his other daughter, and she is always welcome without Emma. I made it very clear that I would never give him any ultimatums regarding our daughter, but he can't keep letting Emma walk all over him. It is not fair on anyone in this situation, least of all the child. He did also call his uncle for recommendations on a family law attorney, as his uncle owns a firm. However, he specializes in environmental law. Nico also arranged a meeting with both of his parents, Emma's mother and myself, for lunchtime. I advised that I don't feel I should be included. However, he asked me to join as a lot of the problems that have arisen are due to her hatred towards me. He did not inform Emma everyone would be attending, so she would show up, and also asked her to leave the baby with one of her sisters. She did show up dressed to the nines and was visibly angry when she realized that he did not want to spend time with her alone. Once she also realized everyone was there, she masked her annoyance and greeted all of the parents warmly. When we all sat down, Nico started by telling her the message she sent me last night was completely unacceptable and would not under any circumstances be happening. He advised that he has done everything he can to try and make the best of the situation, but he can't do it anymore. He made her aware of his intentions to speak with a lawyer to have an official agreement for everything related to the child in place. She did try to argue this, but her mother told her to let him finish. He advised he would still be paying child support, as he has been, double the recommended amount, may I say in parentheses, but he will be having visitation with just his child and not her. Interestingly, her mother was pretty much unaware of everything that she had been doing and was very unhappy with Emma. She also provided us with some information that none of us were aware of. When Emma had the one-night stand with Nico, she was actually in a long-term relationship with her partner of 5 years. And they had been doing long distance for 8 months at the time, due to him caring for his mother in another country. When Emma had found out she was pregnant, she visited him in an attempt to pass the child off as his. However, realized she wouldn't get away with it due to being a different ethnicity between both men. Her boyfriend had broken up with her, and this essentially led her to clinging onto Nico. Her mother was appalled by everything that has been going on and told Emma that she was disappointed in her and that she clearly needed to seek therapy and that none of this is normal or acceptable.
W mom.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, W mother. And you know what is totally acceptable? Tuning in to our live stream on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. All you got to do is just tap that little profile.
Tap it.
Mm-hmm. This is getting to be quite a long story, so I will try and cut it down a bit. The outcome of the meeting was that moving forward, Emma will not be present at any gatherings or visits Nico has with his daughter. Her mother will do pickups and drop-offs to ensure that it stays this way.
Ooh.
They have set days for each parent, and this will all be put in an agreement that will be signed by both of them. If it is not upheld, he will then take her ass to court. Emma did apologize for everything that she had been putting us through and agreed to do therapy, but time will tell if that is genuine. I just want to thank you all for your comments. I think it gave Nico the kick he needed to stand up and put a stop to it all. And hopefully things will improve moving forward.
Woo!
Yes.
Yes.
And that is that.
We love it. We love it,
Well,
kind of happy ending.